Hey everyone, this is Mike from Mike's Do It Yourself. Today I'm going to show you how to put in some Nerf bars or step bars, whatever you want to call them. And for this application, it's a 2000 Toyota 4Runner. And let me just show you a few things that you'll need just to get started. Okay, as far as tools, you're going to need a torque wrench that can do foot-pounds, just a regular socket wrench, an open end. And I've got 19 3/4, or you could do 3/4 sockets, and some lighting. And then you're going to need a 7/32 Allen key or Allen wrench here. Alright, and the company that I got this from, it's a company called Weston out of California. And there's many different makers of step bars. And there's ones that have lights, there's ones where you have to drill. But for this one, it should be straightforward where you don't have to drill. And we'll go through the steps on that. Now your first step before you begin is just to make sure all your parts are here that you ordered. Make sure you have the right amount of parts for each side that you're going to be doing. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 mounting brackets. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 frame brackets. Just make sure all your hardware is here, and then of course your steps. Got 2 of those. Okay, now the first step on this is to put your frame mounting bracket here in through this rectangular hole, and this is the rear part of the frame. So you'll want to put this long piece towards the back end. And just slide it in there. Make sure you hold on to the threads so you don't drop it in there. And once it's in, you want to put this retaining ring onto it. And this will hold it in position until you get the mounting bracket on it. And that way it won't fall down into the frame. There won't be a way to get it out if you drop it in there. Once it's on a little bit, you can just rotate it clockwise, and then it'll go onto the threads. Alright, and then once you got that retaining ring snug to the frame, you can go ahead and do the front. This one's got. So there's something on this one, so I gotta clean that off before I stick it in there. Okay, I had a piece of weld that was on one of the threads, and I just used some needle nose pliers, and I ended up taking it off. If you use a grinder, just be really careful, but a needle nose plier, it was just a little glob of it. And then just make sure your nut will go all the way down on the threads if something like that happens. Okay. So it'll be the same thing on this one. You'll want the long part of the bracket going towards the back of the vehicle. Just hold on to your threads. And once it's in there, put your retainer plate or your washer on the threads. Okay. Once the ring's all the way down, go to the next step. Okay, the next step is to put your brackets onto the frame. And for this application, they're not marked left or right, but for this one you need this part of the bracket facing forward towards the front of the vehicle. And they can only go one way because they're sloped downward. So you'll have one of each, one for the front, or two for the front and two for the back. And so what you want to put on first is the regular washer, the lock washer, and then the nut. And then you just want to hand tighten it right now. Okay, once that's hand tightened, we can move to the back and do the back one. Okay, and then the back one you're going to do the same way. This front piece is going to be facing forward, and then the back bracket, the angle will be going backwards towards the rear. Then you want the regular washer, the lock washer, and then the nut. And just go ahead and hand tighten it for now. After you've got your mounting brackets on, go ahead and attach the tube. And of course these are just going to be hand tightened for now, right now. So when you line it up, you'll want to use the Allen bolts with the lock washer. And you just put the lock washer over the threads and then just line up the holes. Just hand tighten those for now, and then we'll move to the front one. Okay, so those are finger tight. Go ahead and torque the bolts or the nut that's on the frame, and then we'll torque these bolts. For the front and rear mounting bracket nut right here, it's 64 foot-pounds. So we'll go ahead and just make sure your bracket is straight on the frame here. It's not crooked. It looks really good. And then just go ahead and tighten it up to 64 foot-pounds. Once you hear that click, you've hit your torque. Once you got your mounting bracket pretty parallel with your frame here, the bottom of it, let's go ahead and tighten that up to 64 foot-pounds. Once you hear that click, you hit your torque. And then lastly, you want to go ahead and torque these to 19 foot-pounds. And that's each one of these bolts here. Alright, when you're tightening your step bars, you want to make sure you get them as level as possible. So what I used was a small level. I made sure the ground was level that the vehicle's sitting on. And then as you're torquing them down, you can move the Nerf bar or the bar back and forth, the step bar. And that way you can get it as level as possible. That looks pretty good. Well, once you have these torqued to 19 foot-pounds, front and back, you're pretty much done. And just the other side is the same. It's going to be the same installation as this side. Okay, I wanted to give you some final dimensions on this step bar. Now this does have a 2-inch lift on it for this 4Runner. but the step bar comes up about 19 and a half inches off the ground, and it comes out about maybe 4.5 inches past the vehicle. And from the door frame, the step is about 5 inches down. And then from the mounting frame itself, your step comes out about 14 inches. And that's from the main frame for the vehicle. And then your steps, they're about 20 inches. About 20 inches on that. And then the total length of your step bar and then the total length for this step bar is about 62 inches. Then once you've torqued these to 19 foot-pounds, you're done. You can go ahead and try it out. Well, thanks for watching. This has been Mike from Mike's Do It Yourself. Good luck on your next home or automotive project.